Good morning again. Our second interview this morning is with Kevin Grunwald, Social Service Coordinator for the Council on Aging. And you're going to talk about a new program that has got several sessions, and I think it'll be very interesting to a lot of people, Kevin.
Yeah, I was appreciative of having the opportunity to come and speak with you here today,
Good.
Ron, about this
Good.
program. So this is a program that we are just starting. It's the first time we've done it here at the Council on Aging. It's called Reflections on Aging. It's actually a three-part program, although people can attend one or all of the sessions of the program. But the idea is to have an open-ended discussion around some very specific topics related to getting older.
A lot of problems.
Yeah, well, and
it's not easy.
Well, no, it's not, but it's not so much about talking about problems, but really talking about things that most people experience as they get older. So
a lot of common experiences.
There are. So the first one that we're having is actually tomorrow, the 29th, here at the Council on Aging at 1 o'clock, and the topic is loss. And it's certainly something that everybody experiences in one form or another as they get older. And so we were hoping that this would be a great opportunity to provide a forum for people to talk about their experiences with loss.
Yeah, that's a tough thing to go through. I went through it 14 years ago. I'm still going through it, as a matter of fact. So it's very difficult. I went through a program with some people who were really qualified to talk about this, but the problem was they brought on a lot of young widows, and they cried all the time, which was not what I needed.
Yeah, you needed something else at that point. Yeah.
But these people were so compassionate and warm, and I'm sure you'll be the same. You are that way anyway.
Well, and I'm glad that you bring that up, because this is not a bereavement group, so that's probably what you did. This is really more, I'm actually billing it as a psychoeducational group. So it's an opportunity for people to explore losses that they've had in their life. Certainly loss of a spouse is huge, it's significant. But as people get older, they experience a lot of other losses of abilities, losses of independence, losses of identity. And so my hope is that we're going to be able to examine what that issue of loss has been for those folks in their lives.
You start to outlive some of your friends too. That's another loss.
Well, it certainly is. And so with that, not only do you lose your friends, but you lose your social network and your connections in many cases. And so as I started to think about this program, one of the things that I realized is that loss is something that really kind of permeates aging in our culture. And I think it's helpful, many times for people to just have an opportunity to sit with other folks who have had similar experiences.
Shared experiences.
Exactly. Yep.
That's great.
Yep.
That's great. That sounds like a good program, Kevin. Really worthwhile. So that's starting next week?
Well, that's starting tomorrow. And then the next series in this program is going to be, I'm going to just check the date to make sure I get that correct. It's going to be April 26th, which is also a Thursday at 1 o'clock. And the theme for that is going to be forgiveness. And as I talked to some people about putting this program together, I realized that that's a tough one for a lot of people.
Yeah, it is.
And you're smiling, so it seems like you know something about that.
No, it's not easy either.
It's not, but I think it's an important step for people to take as they get older, and I think it can be incredibly liberating for people and incredibly freeing to think about who it is in their lives that they want to forgive or would like to forgive, and think of ways of doing that. So that's actually one that I'm really looking forward to, because I think that, again, it's one of those topics that we don't get to talk about enough, and I think it's probably going to really kind of open up a lot of areas for people to examine.
In my case, I think aging has helped me in that respect. I think I'm more forgiving than I was when I was young.
I think that that's true for a lot of people,
A lot
Ron.
more tolerant.
A lot more tolerant, and I think you also realize that it doesn't help you to hold on
That's
to
right.
your grudges.
You're only
and-
hurting yourself.
Exactly,
that's the
and
problem.
and I'm saying that as a person who likes to hold on to grudges myself sometimes, but realize that that's not always the healthiest thing to do. So again, I think it's a common issue that many people experience as they get older, that we can have some very productive discussion about.
Yeah, that's good. Now, you have to pre-register for this series?
You have to pre-register, call me at the Council on Aging. I do want to talk with people before they come in, just so that they have an idea what to expect. And again, this is not a bereavement group, or it's not a therapy group, so I don't want people coming in with that expectation. So I want to just have a brief conversation with them so they can call me directly at the Council on Aging at 430-7551 or 430-7550, which is our main number, and I'm at extension 12. And I did want to mention the last one of these in the series, which will be on May 31st. And that one is going to be on the next chapter. And I'm also excited, and I know you and I had a conversation recently about kind of next chapters in people's lives, and I know you've had some experience with that yourself. And who would have ever thought you'd be sitting here hosting a talk show?
My wildest dreams.
Right, yeah.
I never thought of, I wish I could have done this for a living.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, a lot more fun than banking, I have to say that. Good people to work with, which is great.
Yeah.
So,
and
a great experience.
I think that many people find that, particularly when they retire from a job, that they're not quite sure what they're going to do. And so part of the process of their retiring and transitioning is really finding what's next for them in their lives, what it is they want to do.
I would just urge them to keep busy.
Yeah. And I think
if
you are...
If you don't, you're going to get depressed and worry about a lot of things you shouldn't be worrying about.
Well, and I think you're somebody who's a great example of a person who's done that very successfully. And
it's been
again,
great for
I
me.
know how busy you are. And I also know that Cape Cod really runs on volunteers to a large extent. So there are lots of volunteer opportunities, certainly at the Council on Aging, here at the Community Center, but at other organizations throughout the community.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think for a lot of people, that's a large part of the next chapter in their lives, is figuring out not what they have to do, but what they want to do and how they want to be spending their time.
Right. You had something else you wanted to cover this morning, too?
Well, I always like to give a plug for our men's breakfast, which I always say is my favorite activity that I do here, and you're a regular at that, so you know that.
Absolutely great.
So that is always on the second Friday of the month at 9 o'clock. We always have a great guest, and so our next breakfast will be Friday, April 13th. Friday the 13th, and Senator Adrian Sear. And I said I was going to make that mistake, and I did. That's his dad's name. Senator Julian Sear will be here, and he'll be talking about some legislative issues, specifically related to seniors. And he does sit on the Elder Affairs Committee of the Senate, and so there's a lot going on the state level that he's going to be able to talk to us about. So again, it's Senator Julian Sear, not Senator Adrian Sear.
What Leo Kakunas did at the last men's breakfast was very instructive for me as to what goes on in the county. I had no idea about a lot of these things, which I think it opened a lot of eyes.
I think it really did, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have Leo as the chair of the county commissioners to come and speak about county government, because I think it's something that a lot of people are not very knowledgeable about, and it's an important part of our government here on Cape Cod, Barnstable County government. And Leo, as always, did a great job explaining how county government works and also answering people's questions.
What year did we start the men's breakfast?
Boy.
It's been a while.
It has been a while.
And you've done a great job, because we started out with about 10 or 12 men, and we're now up to between 80 and 90.
Yeah, I think we actually had 8 the first breakfast that we did, and I think that was probably about 4 years ago.
And you've worked hard to get good speakers and good information for the people. So it's not just a breakfast, but there's good camaraderie developing there. I really enjoy it. Meeting all different men.
Yeah.
I sit with somebody different
Yeah.
Most every.
Yeah.
Well, I have one friend I sit with a lot, but we always sit with different people. So you get to know a lot of them, which was really good.
And we have new people who come every month.
Yeah.
So there's always folks who are coming who are interested in learning what's going on. I will kind of give a plug. So we have Senator Sear coming in April. In May, we have Don Wilding, who is a local historian, and he's going to be talking specifically about Henry Beston's Outermost House. In June, we have the Cape Cod Classics Car Club coming back and bringing their cars, and that's always a really popular one. And then in July, we have Steve Englert, who's the manager of the Harwich Mariners from the Cape Cod Baseball League, coming in. He brings his players, as you know, and they're great.
I've enjoyed meeting some of the young players. It's really nice.
Yep.
So we interviewed Don Wilding on this station along with Michael Locke from the Harwich Conservation Trust about the blizzard of '78.
Yeah.
And that was so different from me as to what happened compared to off the Cape.
Yeah.
I didn't realize because we got snowed in for a week, and here it was all wind.
Yeah.
But Don does a really good job. He's very well versed. He's done a lot of research.
Yep.
And he does a great job. So, and Linda always provides a wonderful
how can I
meal.
mention the breakfast and talk about Linda?
It's the best breakfast
and also,
in town.
it is the best breakfast in town, and she has Pee Wee helping her out now, and I don't know if people know, but they come in about 4:30 in the morning on the Friday mornings when we have breakfast. They're committed to it. They love it. They do a great job. A lot of guys tell me it's the only time in the month when they get to eat bacon. So that's a real plus, for them to
you have a lot of
sneak
choices.
away from home.
Great.
Yeah,
it's a nice thing and a lot of good fellowship.
Yep.
Which I really enjoy.
Yep.
So you've really done a good job to build this up, Kevin.
Well, thank you, Ron.
Thank you for coming on.
Okay. Well,
our pleasure
thanks for
to
having
have
me.
you.
Always good to
Good to
see
see
you.
you. Yeah, always.
And please
Good.
have me back.